This is the Urtopia Carbon 1 Pro super lightweight carbon fiber e-bike. It has a very unique frame design penned by an ex-BMW designer, and it only weighs 37 pounds. By far the lightest e-bike I've seen. Today we'll take a close look at the features, the specs, and see what it's like to ride one of the lightest e-bikes on the planet. I'm a huge fan of e-bikes as they can be a fun and useful alternative to a car in many situations. The freedom of a bicycle and the added bonus of extra juice when you get tired or encounter some challenging hills. But one thing that has always been a compromise of an electric bike is that they're often very heavy, especially fat tire e-bikes. I've tested a couple that were over 100 pounds. So when Urtopia reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review their 37-pound Carbon 1 Pro, I quickly said yes. The first thing that I noticed about the bike is its striking design. They definitely wanted to give this e-bike a unique character, and I think they succeeded. And this flat black color right here gives it a stealthy design, which I like. What do you think of the design here? Let me know in the comments below. So even though this bike was designed by an ex-BMW designer, I think maybe this bike vibes more like a vintage Lotus. The phrase by Lotus founder Colin Chapman, "simplify, then add lightness," certainly seems to apply here. One way that this bike is like a BMW is that there are no turn signals. Get it? Because BMW drivers don't use their turn signals? Okay, dad joke. Moving on. All right, so let's do a walk around of this ultra lightweight e-bike and check out all the features and specs. So I'd say the best way to describe the form factor here is a stylish commuter style e-bike. I would imagine this may get used to quickly travel around dense cities, but it also looks like it can handle longer trips as well. And of course, the key thing that we should focus on here is the weight. Comes in at 37 pounds, as I mentioned, thanks to that ultra lightweight carbon fiber frame. So if you live in a place where you need to cart your bike upstairs, this could be a good option. It's also very easy to load up on a car's bike rack. So this is a unique curved carbon fiber step-over style frame, and it's available in 3 sizes. This is a large. I'm 6'3" and I fit really nicely on this one. So this is a 36 volt bike. Out back we have a 350 watt hub motor with 750 watts of peak power. Urtopia doesn't publish the torque rating, so we'll test out the acceleration and power when we ride it. Nicely integrated into the frame is the 9.8 amp hour battery, which might sound a bit small, but you have to keep in mind how light this bike is. The battery is secured with a key. Urtopia says the range of this bike is up to 90 miles, but like most e-bikes, total range can depend on a whole host of factors. What pedal assist level you're using, what the terrain is like, so we'll test that out. Urtopia says this bike has a 25 mile/hour top speed, so we'll check that out when we ride. Payload capacity comes in at 240 pounds. There's no real space for cargo here, as you can see, but Urtopia does sell a rear rack for this bike. We've got an 8-speed Shimano gear set here, and we've got 4 pedal assist modes. This bike utilizes a torque sensor for the pedal assist, meaning it detects how hard you're pedaling in order to tell the motor how much power to apply. I'm looking forward to testing that out. And you'll notice that there is no throttle control. This is a pedal-only bike. In terms of brakes, we've got 2-piston hydraulic Tektro brand brakes with 160mm rotors front and rear. And this bike does not have any suspension. The handlebars have a very nice straight across design, and these grips are indeed grippy. We got plastic fenders front and rear. It has a relatively narrow seat, and we'll test out the comfort when we ride. And we've got 26 by 1.6 inch puncture-proof tires with a street-oriented tread pattern, and they're riding on spoke wheels. And right front and center here is the integrated display, which is much different than any other e-bike that I've tested. It's got this LED pixel thing going on, which is very bright even in sunlight, and it plays sounds when you change modes, which is interesting. This is the sound it makes when you turn it on. And when you change modes. Pedal assist level 1, 2. Oh, so lovely. And the headlight is nicely integrated into the front of this display. There is an included taillight, but it's a clip-on battery-powered unit. And there is a bell, sort of. You press this button right here, and there's a sample of a bell that plays through this integrated speaker. That's kind of cool. And speaking of speakers, you can use this as a Bluetooth device and listen to music here, which is super cool. You can also use the app and set up directions to appear right on this display, so you can ride without needing your phone out. This bike also has a couple theft protection features, a movement alarm to hopefully keep people from taking it, and live GPS tracking in case someone does take it. In terms of assembly, the bike is shipped in a large box, but thankfully it wasn't that heavy. Assembly wasn't too terribly difficult. If you can hold a wrench and have about an hour to spare, you can get everything together pretty easily. And this Urtopia Carbon 1 Pro comes with a 2-year warranty. Now, if you want to buy this lightweight e-bike, please use my purchase link in the description below, but don't do that just yet. Let's first take this thing for a ride and see how it does. First, we're going to test out the capabilities of this bike around my city, and then we're going to load up the bike on the back of our car and head out to CicLAvia, where they temporarily open some streets in Los Angeles to people on bikes and on foot and close the roads to cars. It's a ton of fun. All right, let's go. So I usually start off my e-bike reviews with an acceleration test, but we don't have a throttle here, so a lot of the acceleration will depend on how hard you pedal and what gear you're in. So we do have 4 pedal assist modes here, so let's bump it all the way up. So let's see how quickly we can get this thing going. On 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. All right. 30 kilometers an hour. On flat ground right here, I'm going 32 kilometers an hour. That's about as fast as I can get my out of shape body to propel this bike. Shifting here is very smooth with this 8-speed Shimano. So as I mentioned earlier, this bike utilizes a torque sensor for the pedal assist as opposed to a cadence sensor. Now, a torque sensor will detect how hard you're pedaling, and that can often lead to a more smooth, natural feel for your pedaling, and that's definitely the case here. It almost doesn't feel like there's a motor attached to this bike. It kind of just feels like somebody's giving you a little bit of a push. It's pretty nice. This is definitely one of the better torque sensors that I've experienced. Now compare that to a cadence sensor, which a lot of cheaper e-bikes have. Now a cadence sensor, what that will do is it will detect when you're pedaling, not how hard you're pedaling. So that can often feel like an on-off switch. So yeah, with this torque sensor, absolutely none of that here. This is a very smooth pedaling experience. Now let's see if we can get it up to that top speed again. Now Urtopia rates this at 25 miles per hour. Really depends a lot on the rider, but it does seem as though this is sort of somewhere between like a class 2 and a class 3 bike. And when you are riding pretty quickly, you may need to be able to stop pretty quickly. So let's check out these brakes in 3, 2, 1, go. Very good. So we've got those 2-piston hydraulic Tektro brakes here with 160 millimeter rotors. Now a lot of e-bikes have 180 millimeter rotors, but you don't really need rotors that big with a bike this light. It stops really good. All right, so I'm stopped here because I want to do a hill test. Now we've got a pretty steep hill right in front of us. I've shifted to the lowest gear, put the pedal assist all the way up, and just see how easy this is. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Whoa, I got a little wheelie. It's pretty easy. 20 kilometers per hour, still accelerating. Of course, you do still have to get some exercise. This is not the bike for you if you just want the bike to do all the work. So yeah, that was pretty easy, piece of cake. So I'm not going super fast, but it's still a lot easier to get up that hill than it would have been if I had no electric assist. So one thing that we should talk about once again is the weight of this bike. At 37 pounds, it's really easy to ride even without electric power. If I turn this all the way off, yeah, it feels like a regular bike. So yeah, this is an e-bike where if you want lightweight, you don't need to remove the battery. It's pretty light even with the battery installed. And if you just want to get some exercise, just turn that pedal assist off. But I'm gonna leave mine on because I want to get through this intersection before the light turns red. And that is a very useful part about having electric pedal assist, is those situations where you do need to try to get out ahead of traffic. But if you do end up using all the juice in your battery, you're going to be glad that you're riding this bike and not like a 100-pound fat tire e-bike. So one other benefit of a very extremely lightweight bike is great maneuverability. This thing can turn on a dime. Very easy to steer, very easy to quickly change directions and avoid obstacles. All right, so let's talk about comfort. Now, I think that this bike does seem to be positioned towards riders that want to get exercise, riders that want a bike that's easy to get around a city, easy to carry upstairs, easy to load onto the back of a car, and it's really great at all of those things. So obviously no throttle means that you're going to be pedaling, so the seat here is very narrow, which does seem to maximize pedaling efficiency. You don't have a giant fat seat getting in your way when you're trying to pedal, but you do have to like this style of seat. It's not a laid-back cruiser style seat. And keep in mind that there is no suspension here, so let's go over this speed bump, see how we do. Yeah, it's not so bad. Got a lot of bumps on this road. So yeah, you do just have to keep that in mind. No suspension means that you'll have to keep your eye out for potholes and large bumps in the road like this road has. Though Urtopia does say that it's easy to add a front suspension fork or wider tires if you want. So I'd say that the riding position is a bit lean forward, but not too far, nor is it very upright. It's kind of somewhere in the middle, but I do think that gels with the style of riding that you're likely to do on this bike. The handlebars here have a very nice straight across design and they can be adjusted. Now this display is very interesting. It does take some getting used to, but I do like the fact that it's very bright, direct sunlight right now, and it's very easy to read. A bunch of different things you can display here. Got your speed, battery level, trip computer, how much power you're currently using. Yeah, it's very unique. I've never seen a display like this on an e-bike. Now, in terms of range, so much of this will depend on how you ride, how much you're using the pedal assist, what the terrain is like. Urtopia says that you can go 90 miles until the battery runs out. I've gone about 15 miles so far, and I plan to ride a whole lot more later today, and I still have almost a full battery, it looks like. So I've had a nice little ride through town so far, but I kind of want to get away from cars for a bit. So my family and I are going to be heading out to CicLAvia in just a bit, where the city of Los Angeles closes roads to vehicle traffic and opens them up to people on bikes and people on foot. So let's load up this lightweight bike on the back of my car and head over there. All right, so how much does all of this cost you? The Urtopia Carbon 1 Pro carbon fiber e-bike comes in at $24.99. No, that's certainly not an inexpensive bike, but carbon fiber frame bikes are generally a step up from other e-bikes that are on the market. You also get some name brand components here, Shimano and Tektro, that you might not find on a budget e-bike, and it's very unlikely that you'll find an aluminum frame e-bike that is this light. Carbon fiber definitely is a premium. So I've really enjoyed riding this bike. It's refreshing to ride an electric bike that provides pedal assist when you need it, but doesn't feel like you're lugging around a gigantic beast. The torque sensor works really well. I like the unique display, the anti-theft features, and it looks pretty cool as well. Given the price, this bike isn't going to be for everyone, but if you truly value a bike being lightweight and having some really cool tech features, then this bike might be hard to beat. So what do you think of the Urtopia Carbon 1 Pro? Let me know in the comments below. Now, if you want to buy this bike, please use my link in the description below. That's gonna be it for today. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon.